Bound for Glory. This was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Now, some positives, because we like being positive here and make pro wrestling majestic again.
Okay.
This felt big.
Yeah, it did.
The place was packed. Mm-hmm. It was the highest attended TNA show in years, like 11 years. Mm-hmm. And I love the set. Mm-hmm. It felt so special. The crowd was hot the entire night. It just was awesome. I loved it. It felt so fresh and exciting, like very much like this is where TNA is going to be now, and I'm all for it. I'm here for the ride. Bayley and Vikingo was
again. It was about Mike Bailey.
Yep, it was a good opener. I just hope Vikingo does more TNA than he does with AEW. It kind of looks like that might be going that direction.
That's a good thing because we don't need Vikingo to be any more in AEW.
Yes, he had that spat and then he got hurt.
Yep,
I think he got hurt at an AEW show
too,
which would be hilarious because like he was out for like 9 months. Like good job, guys, good, fantastic. Let's have him do everything. I loved how they did this match.
Yeah,
I cannot believe TNA managed to pull off in like not just like a turn because Josh Alexander was like always that great wrestler in the heel. Now it's like how are they going to really establish him being a heel, and then Steve Macklin, who has always been like this heel, trying to be a babyface, kind of awkward. They did it. They somehow managed to like set this establishment. I'm not going to say that it was like on the level of Stone Cold and Bret Hart, but I kind of had that sort of feeling regarding it. Like if, this is Stone Cold and Bret Hart at home.
Right.
But there's nothing taken away from that. It was still consumable, very good stuff. It just wasn't McDonald's. But I just liked this match a lot. I liked how they did this.
I agree. I like
Steve Macklin looked like the biggest badass who did not verbally submit Josh Alexander with the zip tie. I love that gimmick. It's a good gimmick for him. And then with the ankle lock, he won the match, but he didn't win the match. It was just great. It was just a very good match. Can we just now establish that Mike Santana is a main eventer? This was his match.
It was. This was his kind of breakout match into that main event scene, I feel.
Moves to the 2-time TNA champion. He is the main event of this entire company, and he beat him. Mm-hmm. Boom. Big time. Excuse me. Awesome stuff. I just loved it. Oh, man. I was worried about this because it's the Juggernaut. She has been on a tear. And with Masha, they had to present her as a credible person to win this match.
Honestly, Jordynne Grace was the person to beat in TNA.
She was the Juggernaut. She was the unstoppable monster who has beaten everybody. She's ran through everybody, and they did this right. Masha finally did this where people were so behind her, even though it was a babyface. Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy. She's a chick from Moscow.
Right.
I mean, right now, Russia ain't the most popular place in the world. Right. And she was still heavily cheered. And it was great to see.
Yep.
Jordynne, they had a great match, too.
They did. It was a fantastic match, but the right person won, obviously.
Oh, yeah. She felt like the woman to beat Jordynne.
I think that Jordynne Grace is going to WWE. I think she's going to land NXT once her contract expires.
Yep, absolutely. And now this is more of like a personal thing, but I loved the aesthetics that they did with this Full Metal Mayhem with all the drawings and like everything was painted.
Yeah, knowing you'd get a rise out of that.
I'm an artist. I kind of like it when they do and they put like their own little flair. Yeah, and I really liked it. But we got to have some negatives because there were some glaring negatives on this.
We're not going to get the elephant out of the room, but we can talk about this.
What was the elephant? Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. The turn with Rosemary and Wendy Choo was very weird. There was no tension.
I felt like it was rushed. I don't know why it was rushed.
I don't know either. I literally watch NXT and TNA. I watched these two teams, and there was no indication murmurings, anything regarding that. And these two had a problem with each other. It was so weird.
Now, here's what I like about this partnership with NXT, and I want to talk about this because Wendy Choo is one of those people that really thrived with this ongoing partnership between NXT and TNA. Like, she needed a career resurgence. I think the reason why Rosemary turned on Wendy Choo is because I don't know how well Wendy Choo was doing as a heel. I wonder if they made more money with her being a babyface, or maybe she didn't enjoy being a heel. I don't know. I don't know the reasons.
I'm not sure. I hate this whole sleepy gimmick.
But there is a reason why they made Wendy Choo a babyface. There is a reason why they did it. It wasn't just out of the blue something. Whenever WWE makes turns like this, it is always calculated for a reason.
Right. Maybe Rosemary is going to go to NXT. I don't know. But and at the same time with Spitfire, I just don't vibe with the team. I never really have. They're still the Knockouts Tag Team Champions.
They're just there.
The Tag Team Champions are rough.
Yeah.
The
Knockouts Tag Team Champions are rough.
Yeah, they really are. So here, I have a double take here. The match itself was lazy. It felt very lazy. This is supposed to be a blood feud. And I get that a main part of this feud is out with Steph DeLander. Right. I get that they had to adjust this somewhere. But could she have not have appeared somewhere?
Well, I mean, she just had surgery like a couple days ago.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize how, like, that.
Yeah, I mean, she like I think it was like a Thursday. It was on Thursday.
Oh, crap. I didn't realize that.
She was in a hospital. She is currently in a hospital.
I see. Okay.
But yes, I do agree that this kind of died a little bit without Steph DeLander being involved.
They had to finish it somehow and somewhere, and this was a way to do it. They had Rhino there, but at the same time, Rhino was inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. So he was sort of distracted outside of the zeitgeist. But then at the same time, do I have a separate picture with this? Nope, not yet. Okay, I'll discuss that later. But is there a point with this international heavyweight champion anymore?
No.
They still are defending it with the digital media, and there is no reason for it.
Because it's totally different promotion.
Huh?
It's a totally different promotion, I think.
Yeah, I think actually the international was that an OG Maple Leaf? I could be wrong about that.
I think it was like some Montreal-based promotion.
It was a Canadian-based promotion. I do know that, or it might have been Quebec because that's where PCO is from. So I don't know. I just don't like that they're having this title and it's like being defended and it's recognized everywhere. But it's like, well, how temporary is this title? It just doesn't help anybody. And there's just no reason for it. I didn't like it that AJ Francis brought it there in the first place. Right. But I guess it made more sense because he had the rivalry with PCO, where it's like, I bought a title that you could never win. I am the champion.
Right. That was kind of the reason.
It should have been retired after that, though, because that's the end of the rivalry. Yeah. There's no reason for it.
It should have been, but it wasn't.
It's not. It's still going. Whatever. So there is a negative within this match, and it's not the match itself, it's the order of the matches, where they said, number one, a triple main event does not exist. The final match is the main event. It will always be the main event. Everything else is not the main event. It could be a featured match, but it's not the main event. I think perfect world, I think the order of operations regarding the matches were wrong. I get that they wanted to do the whole Jeff Hardy, artsy-fartsy, let's paint pretty colors and butterflies, that whole thing. So, in a way, that had to either be the first match or the last match. But I think this should have been before the World Champion. I don't know why. I felt like this had more of a vibe.
I think the reason why they wanted that match to be the last match was because they wanted to send the fans home happy.
I guess. And it's hard because, at the same time, Nic Nemeth is from Ohio, and Ohio and Michigan don't necessarily have the best of reputations, especially in Detroit.
But they did that for a reason. That was the reason. They wanted to send the fans home happy. And if Joe Hendry wasn't going to win the world title, you're not going to piss people off.
You could have had this be the main event and have Masha win, and people would have been sent home happy.
I just don't. And again, I think part of it too is just the vibe of the Hardys, and the Hardys needed a good comeback story, and that was their comeback.
I guess I personally had a moan about it, but that was just me. The order of the matches was just sort of weird. I just don't like it when they promote it as like 3 main events. No, there are no 3 main events because now I'm sitting there thinking, okay, what's the best orientation of these matches? Because you say they're all main event. It's not all main event.
I think they do that to hype it up, and then I think they also do that to keep people and keep things ambiguous because they don't want to reveal what the main event is going to be before the main event.
I still don't like it. The JBL Interference. It felt very strange.
I think he's getting involved too much into Nic Nemeth. We need the story to progress.
I need to know why at this point because okay, here's the thing: JBL attacked Joe Hendry. Right. Okay. He attacked Frankie Kazarian. Right. Frankie Kazarian was a referee. He could have disqualified, but whatever. Ryan Nemeth got hit by JBL as well, and he left. But for some reason, Ryan Nemeth did not tell Nick that John Layfield got involved. He's just like, I'm hurting my face, and Nick is yelling at Frankie Kazarian. But Ryan is sitting there who got hit by John Layfield, and he didn't say anything.
It didn't make sense. I need to know why John Layfield is doing this with Nic Nemeth.
Yeah, I think we're getting to a point where we need the explanation.
We need the storyline to evolve.
Right. It's like, okay, he was there for Nic Nemeth at Triple Mania. They already had that relationship. We had that at GCW. But if I'm not mistaken, this is the second time JBL has shown up at a TNA event where Nic Nemeth was involved. It's like, okay, where are we going from here? John Layfield has to do something storyline-wise because now he's starting to interfere in major matches.
Yes.
This is for the world champion. Now we need to know why.
Right. And I agree. This needs to progress. The storyline needs to progress.
Now, John Layfield needs to appear on TV more. Even if it's just something really small, like him continuing to attack people that Nemeth is going to be involved with. And then maybe Nemeth gets really pissed off and says, why the fuck are you doing this? And the silent death cowboy is cool, but I need to see the silent death cowboy on television. I like the vibe though. I do
too. I like it too. And Joe Hendry needed to lose somehow.
Because he is going away.
Right. He is presumably going to NXT.
Yes, which would be great. But at the same, I think even with Joe Hendry and Jordynne Grace being gone, you and I talked about this earlier. I feel like TNA is going to be fine.
Yeah, they're in a good spot.
They're in a really good spot, really strong divisions, really established stuff, and the Hardys are there. There are really good wrestlers there. So I think TNA will be fine without Joe Hendry and without Jordynne Grace.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be hurt for a little bit, but they can build stars. And then they have that partnership with NXT as well. So they got a good cream of the crop.
Oh, yeah. I'm not worried about it. And heck, if Joe Hendry or Jordynne Grace are going to NXT, they could still show up in TNA.
Yeah.
They probably won't, but they could.
Right. Anyways, that's all I have for that particular one. Is there anything else that you saw in particular that was negative?
No. This was very nitpicky. With Bound for Glory, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
It was a very good show. Oh, and with Wrestle Dream, I'm going to give it an Orange Cassidy thumbs up. Overall, I liked it, but at the same time, there were just a lot of very glaring and horrible issues that just could not do it above that. Next week, we're covering Halloween Havoc.
Yep.
We're going to do drama. We're going to do news. We're going to go right back into the swing of things. And also, we're doing Crown Jewel.
Yep.
So
Crown Jewel's on Saturday, and then possibly a match.
Yes, possibly a match. So, if you guys enjoy this, remember to like, follow, subscribe, let us know what you think. And as always, be
majestic.